What is going on, my salty little home gymmers? Today, we are going to be talking about the new shoulder raise rack attachment from Mikolo. Now, I'll start this video by saying there are two things that are getting really popular in the gym world nowadays. One is rack attachments, and that's obviously because the home gym equipment community in general is growing, and these are your space-saving options. The other thing that's starting to get really popular just in gym culture in general, whether it be home or commercial gyms, I've seen them in both, is standing shoulder raise machines. So they be plate loaded or selectorized or wherever. I'm starting to see a huge rise in these. I just see these more and more. They're all the rage now. And Mikolo is tossing their name in both of those hats with their version of the shoulder raise rack attachment. There's a couple things here that I think set this piece apart from its competitors. One is being that price, and the other thing that I think sets it apart is it's a little more versatile than some of the ones I've seen out there. It's not the only one I've seen like this, but it definitely is one of the few. This piece can actually adapt to any rack. It doesn't have that sandwich grip that a lot of these competitor brands have on their shoulder raise that only fit the racks that they sell, or they only fit a 2x2 inch, 2x3 inch, or a 3x3 inch rack. This guy can fit all of those. It doesn't have a sandwich grip. It has a system where you send a bolt through the back of the rack and tighten it on. It is made for 1-inch holes, or at least the one that I received is. So that's the only thing you really got to consider here for your rack is what size holes your rack has. But as far as your post size, it can fit just about anything. So that's a pretty cool feature on here. Now, it's not often that this happens to me, but I got this piece pretty late in the game, so I've had that chance to see other people's opinions on it, see other videos, see the reviews, and I've had a chance to test it out myself. So I'm in a pretty unique position here, and here's a couple things that I took away from that. One is the assembly. I saw a couple people complain that it didn't work well with cable racks, and that just wasn't my experience because there appears to be a couple different ways to assemble this guy. And I don't think Mikolo is really gonna be that mad at me for saying this, because even on their Amazon ad, in the first picture, you'll see that these arms are in front of the Mikolo logo, and in the other pictures, you'll see that these arms are in the back of the Mikolo logo. People with cable racks, I'd highly recommend that you assemble it the way I have here. It doesn't hurt the functionality at all, and you don't have to go about putting this whole entire piece back behind that cable. To be honest with you, in general, I think this is the better way to go about it, but either way works. Whichever one's comfortable for you. My cable system on both my racks here, it worked fine with, and it wasn't a pain to get on. I also heard another video where somebody said the assembly was hard. I just want to put everyone's mind at ease. That wasn't a broad opinion, but I did hear it once. This thing is not at all hard to assemble. It's in fact one of the easiest pieces I've had to assemble. It's a pretty basic concept, and you're gonna hear me repeat that phrase. That's just what this piece is, a really simple concept. I did find it pretty cool that you actually assemble it on the rack. That was kind of a unique experience. I'm not exaggerating, maybe 15 minutes it took me to put this thing together. It's very easy. And there's not a lot of parts here. Now let's talk about what everyone came here to learn about, the functionality. How does this thing feel? So I'll put it to you like this. Feels good, it isolates really well. Like I said, there's a big rise in these standing shoulder raise machines because there's a big debate out there on whether or not it isolates more. I would say it would almost have to isolate those muscle groups that are near or around the shoulder better than just your dumbbell exercises, but I'll leave you to decide that. All I can say is this attachment, it feels fine, it feels smooth, it feels generally how this attachment should feel. It does take kind of a minute to get your proper height and where you want to grip for each exercise on this, which is generally with all these attachments. And another thing that I noticed about the functionality of this machine is it really does not take a lot of weight on this machine. I think because your arms are so long and your plate horns are so far out that not a lot of weight at all is required. Now, before I give you just my general summary, let's talk about some materials for a minute. The coating on this is actually pretty decent. Obviously, I got the black, but I've seen some other videos that had the red version of this attachment. They complained about some nicks on the outside. Mine, surprisingly, did not come with any scrapes, any scratches whatsoever. As you can see here, the packaging was great. Everything was foamed in, nothing rubbed against each other, which is one of the few times I can say that about equipment. Grips on it are great. All the bolts and everything are generally what you'd expect. I don't think they have what gauge steel this is listed. If you can find that, put it in the comments. I just missed it. But I'd say it's somewhere in the middle of not your lowest quality and not your top quality, just somewhere in the general home gym area. Just somewhere general, maybe about 13 gauge steel, somewhere around in there, which is fine. Like I said, this machine doesn't require a lot of weight, so it's not gonna get beat on like something that does. So if you're just looking for that rack attachment for that shoulder raise that's pretty general spec, I think this one is a pretty safe bet. And that will about do it. If you have any questions, because I'm sure I've missed something somewhere, put them down in the comments. I'm very responsive. I'll get back to you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We got a lot of great stuff coming, as I tell you always. Thanks for watching.